The police are reviewing the way they carry out pursuits after a string of fatal crashes. The review was started in July but was only announced today and has been jointly done by the New Zealand Police and the Independent Police Conduct Authority. Last month, 3 people died following police pursuits. The review will look at 75 pursuits notified to the IPCA this year, and those are the ones involving death or serious injury. And it'll also look at a selection of more routine pursuits. There have been 6 similar reviews in the past 20 years, and I asked the Assistant Commissioner Bill Searle what's prompted this one.
Nothing specific. It's just we're in constant discussions with the IPCA, and we've decided that now is a good time because any fleeing driver incident that results in a crash or a fatality, is tragic. So we're just going to do our best to see if we can identify some good practice and just see if there's any way that we can improve the policy and how we operate at the moment.
What do you think about the current policy? Is there room for change there?
Look, I think it's fit for purpose as far as I know, but look, I'm open. I've got an open mind, and let's see what the review finds, and we'll look very carefully at the results. But the good thing about this review, it's thematic, so it's looking at quite a wide number of fleeing driver incidents. So hopefully we'll be able to identify some trends and some good practice and make some meaningful recommendations.
Yeah, the figures that we've had from the police today say that there were 13 deaths in the past 2 years from these police pursuits and 1,200 crashes. That's a lot of danger, not just to the drivers but to the public. Isn't this telling us that there needs to be some changes somewhere?
Well, look, I acknowledge that every death and every injury is tragic, but the police have just got to do the best they can operating the policy that we've got. Police operate in a difficult situation, and they apply a risk assessment approach continuously. And our number one priority is safety as well. So no police officer wants anyone to crash in a fleeing driver incident, I can assure you.
And yet there's still 1,200 crashes in the past 2 years, 600 a year.
And then that's why we're having a review to see if we can do better.
Why do police pursue at speed?
Well, every situation is different, but there are a number of reasons why police officers might need to try and stop a driver. And people think that why don't we just take the registration plate and follow up the driver when we can? But there's a high proportion of these cars that are stolen cars, 28% nationally, and in Auckland, nearly 50%. So the balance is whether to conduct a pursuing driver incident or whether to let the driver go, but both options, have risk associated with them.
Some of these cases, though, like Morocco Tai, recently the 15-year-old who died, he'd stolen a car and yet it's resulted in his death. Is that good enough?
Well, it's a difficult situation that police are in, and as I said, no police officer wants anybody to be injured or killed. But when police don't know the identity of the person who's in the fleeing vehicle, it's very difficult a decision to make.
But a lot of these people, especially some of the deaths that have been highly publicised in the past few years, they have been teenagers, often young people. We know that they don't use their judgment in the same way that adults do. They may be affected by alcohol, by drugs. Is it not sort of incumbent, I guess, on sensible adult police officers to weigh up whether a pursuit is the best option, and do they need better guidelines in which to do that?
Well, I suppose that the police officers don't know who's behind the wheel, and the number one thing that we would say to anybody who is being pulled over by a police officer, please pull over, because the consequences are just not worth it.
And that was the Police Assistant Commissioner Bill Searle.